Here's Josh again. He prefers to work quietly in the background rather than this close to the camera, and I can't blame him. But it looks like we have more fun things. Okay, so where did all this lumber come?
So this came off of a project that we just finished up, and most of the time it'll go in the dumpster or garbage or somewhere. So I wanted to make sure we got it to a good home, so we found one, and I think we can put it to use for sheds or shelves or flower boxes, or we'll figure out something. But Wilmore Lumber makes some beautiful flooring. You can order it whatever size you want, length, width, thickness, and grade. So these wider planks with a roughened edge are going to make some really beautiful flooring. It helps with the cupping, so that as the board dries, that it doesn't cup. And so it by removing a little bit of lumber here on the bottom, it gives it a relief, and so as it dries, it's not going to curl up. That's going to be a siding for the exterior of the house, and it'll give it a log cabin look, but at a lot smaller price point. So these guys can cut you whatever you want. So we were talking about board foot. So board foot is 1 inch thick by 12 inches by 12 inches. That's a board foot. On a flooring piece like this, because we've got to cut this tongue in, or the groove and the tongue, and then the ribs in the bottom, and then the rough sawn on the top, it's a lot more expensive. We're going to be $2.50 a square foot. And so that's something to consider as you're looking at flooring and lumber. Is just a rough sawn board is very inexpensive. When you start to put it into flooring, it gets a lot more expensive because it's got to run through a lot more machines. It's handled a lot more. I'm wondering what they're going to end up doing with these. It's interesting. They've cut them square 3 sides. Wonder if they're going to run boards or what they're going to do. I don't think I would ever use aspen in anything structural. It's just so soft. But certainly somebody ordered them, and how do we get the logs wet before we put them into the sawmill?
Well, for one thing, it washes the logs off.
So the dirt doesn't eat up the saw blades, so it kind of washes them. Okay.
That's one reason. Another reason, they're very easy to handle when you put them out in the pond.
So they float around, you can push them around, you can sort them.
I can sort them, I pull them up to these marks, I cut them off to wherever I need whatever I'm after, as far as lengths. So it makes it very easy to handle. And in the winter time, it helps thaw the logs so they're not frozen.
Of buttons and controls. I mean, do you even have to think about it? It's like, it depends on what I'm doing. So is there force and blast, or you just kind of have to get into it? I think there's plenty of boards here. We could build a whole community of tiny houses with the amount of lumber they got around here, and 2 goat sheds to go with each tiny house. Right. Easy, no problem.
Do you want to tell us about the mothership?
The mothership. So that silo is where all of the sawdust and the chips and everything from the cutting ends up, and they turn it into that sawdust and those chips. They then sell off to people that are doing mulch or paper products or
back to Eden gardening.
Back to Eden gardening, whatever. But if you went to your local sawmill and said, hey, I would like a trailer load or a truckload of your byproduct, the sawdust, the chips, whatever, it would make for great compost, great gardening, and at a really great price point. That's been sitting around for a while that for whatever reason didn't get purchased or got lost in the back of a pile or something, and it's got some twists in it. It's got quite a bit of checking, but if you look at the size of these beams, there's still a lot of really good wood in it. And if you were to show up at the sawmill and say, hey, you know, make me a deal on this, you could get a really good price on some of these larger timbers. You can see at the end we've got some checking at the end, but we could easily cut that out and we have a nice piece. We can even cut out some of the splits that are at the other end here and end up with a great beam for a barn project or a shed or whatever it is that we're doing, and more than anything, get a really good price on it.
Recreation like that. Okay. But just carry your turkey.